Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
I'm Corey Evan, coming up in the Weekender. The U.S. military reports on the state of ISIS and the state of our ambassador to South Korea. I have the latest updates on the Harrison Ford plane crash in Southern California. It's all about civil rights, or what Obama calls civil rights, in our continuing battle against global socialism. A car thief knocks himself out, literally, with a brick in Crime and Pinheads. Let's Make a Deal comes up trumps in the latest ratings run in our Game Show News Minute. And today, we look at the classified! No need to check the clock, ladies and gentlemen. It's right on the dot, top of the hour. That means the Weekender starts now.
Making sense of the week's news and the most of your weekend. From Southern California, this is the SHR Weekender with Corey Evan.
It's starting to heat up outside, and that means spring is on its way. It's not here quite yet, according to the calendar, but it's starting to feel like it, especially since you're here for the SHR Weekender. And thank you for tuning in. Make yourself comfortable. We're getting started right now. According to the BBC, Iraqi forces have pushed ISIS fighters out of the western town of al-Baghdadi, the U.S. military says. The town, which was taken over by ISIS last month, is about 5 miles from a base housing hundreds of U.S. troops who are training Iraqi soldiers. Iraqi forces moved in after precise and effective airstrikes by the U.S.-led coalition, a statement said. Meanwhile, ISIS was widely condemned on Friday after it bulldozed the ancient Assyrian city of Nimrud in Iraq. ISIS began demolishing the site, which was founded in the 13th century BC, on Thursday, according to Iraqi officials. The head of the UN's cultural agency condemned the systematic destruction in Iraq as a war crime. ISIS, which controls large areas of Iraq and Syria, says shrines and statues are false idols that have to be smashed. Nimrud lies on the Tigris, about 18 miles southeast of Mosul, which is under ISIS control. Iraqi forces said they were making progress in their major offensive aimed at retaking the city of Tikrit, which lies between Mosul and the capital, Baghdad. The operation to recapture the city involved some 30,000 soldiers and Shia militiamen. Military commanders said the combined force had moved into the town of Al-Dur on the southern outskirts of Tikrit. One militia commander told Reuters news agency that Al-Dur had been, quote, totally liberated, unquote, but it was unclear if the entire town had fallen. A senior commander in the main Shia alliance, Moeen al-Kadhimi, told the BBC that progress has been slowed by the extensive use of improvised explosives by ISIS. The Iraqi government's offensive is being supported from the air by the U.S.-led coalition, which says it has launched 26 airstrikes on ISIS positions in Iraq since March 22nd of last year. A spokesman for Ban Ki-moon said the UN Secretary General considered the assault, quote, a war crime and represents an attack on humanity as a whole. Stay with us here at SHR Media. We will bring you updates on the ISIS situation as they become available. And man, have they been coming in. All we can do is post them up on our Facebook page, facebook.com/SHR Weekender, and at the SHR News Desk Twitter, at SHR News Desk. Next up from the UK Daily Mail, the US said Friday it coordinated with South Korea to boost security for its ambassador after he was attacked in Seoul, but defended procedures that had left him with a single bodyguard. Ambassador Mark Lippert was in stable condition and expected to stay in hospital until next Tuesday or Wednesday after an incredibly serious assault by a knife-wielding man, State Department Deputy Spokeswoman Marie Harf said. The envoy was in good spirits, had spoken to U.S. President Barack Obama, and was eager to return to his duties as soon as he can, Harf added. Korean authorities, quote, have augmented his security with several other officers since this attack, Harf told reporters, but she bristled when it was suggested that security for the American envoy might not have been at the appropriate level, given the tensions between Washington and Pyongyang, South Korea's provocative neighbor to the north. Lippert had been assigned one full-time bodyguard from the Seoul Metropolitan Police, quote, standard procedure for the ambassador in Seoul, she said. Korea is conducting an investigation of the attack in coordination with officials at the U.S. Embassy in Seoul, and the State Department will study the situation to see what security changes, if any, ought to be made. The suspect in custody, 55-year-old Kim Ki-jong, is considered a lone assailant with strong nationalist views who sees the U.S. as a main obstacle to the reunification of the divided Korean peninsula. Harf would not be drawn when pressed on whether the U.S. was beefing up its diplomatic security worldwide in the aftermath of the extremist-linked attacks on the U.S. mission in Benghazi, Libya that killed Ambassador Christopher Stevens and 3 other Americans.
Hillary.
And amid heightened tensions over jihadist threats from groups like ISIS. Seeking a change to the U.S. security posture worldwide because of threats in a particular location or region is, quote, an oversimplification of the threat picture, Harf said. Well, Ms. Harf, I would like to see your proposal for how to beef up security. And as soon as you outline that, we here at SHR Media will be listening. Back home in the U.S., Dr. Sanjay Khurana may not be a Jedi, but he certainly sensed a disturbance moments before Star Wars actor Harrison Ford crash-landed his plane at Venice's Penmar golf course Thursday. The spine surgeon was golfing solo on his afternoon off and noticed the players ahead of him scrambling to get out of the way. Quote, "The plane's coming in," someone yelled as Khurana looked up to see the 72-year-old Ford's... Quote, "The plane's coming in," someone yelled as Khurana looked up to see the 72-year-old Ford's yellow 1942 Ryan Aeronautical ST-3KR aircraft fly right over his head, coming from behind him about 110 feet up in the air, he said. He told the Daily News, quote, "I'm like, okay, this is interesting. The propeller, as I recall, was spinning with basic air just from the velocity of the airplane. I don't recall it having any sort of major thrust. It was silently gliding and then it clipped a tree," he added. "It kind of rotated and it lost velocity." He recalled hearing branches breaking and then a deafening thump. He approached from the left as he noticed the smell of leaking fuel and saw a passenger slumped over and moaning, he said. He said Ford had some, quote, significant scalp lacerations and trauma and appeared stunned, but otherwise appeared to be intact. According to the doctor, Ford stammered, quote, "Where am I?" "Right now, Mr. Ford, you are indeed in the hospital, just in case you haven't come to." Surgeons worked on the actor for about 4 hours after he was taken to the hospital, a source close to the family told KTLA television, but Dr. Khurana didn't know at the time that Ford had any broken bones. First responders arrived on the scene within minutes and quickly moved Ford to an ambulance bound for UCLA Ronald Reagan Medical Center. Ford was also treated for multiple gashes to his head and had some cuts on his arms. The veteran actor, known for playing swashbucklingly lovable heroes like Indiana Jones and Han Solo, as well as one of the lead anchors of the Daybreak show in the movie Morning Glory, one of Jay's favorite films over on the Evan Miller Report, Jason Miller I'm referring to, is indeed a trained pilot with years of flying experience. Good thing he had the foresight to land on a golf course. I mean, all that space. You definitely need that to land a plane safely. And as I like to say, may the force be with you, Mr. Ford. The guy may be a liberal, but at the same time, he is indeed a very likable person, from a pure humanitarian standpoint. So there you are, fans of Harrison Ford. No need to lose any sleep. Besides, you'll already be losing an hour of sleep on Sunday due to the start of daylight savings time. You'll also temporarily fall out of sync with much of the rest of the world. Why? For the sake of, quote, saving energy. Anyway, this coming to us from NBC News, daylight saving time goes into effect for the U.S. tomorrow, excluding Hawaii, most of Arizona, and some U.S. territories, at 2 a.m. Technically, clocks should be pushed forward to 3 a.m. at that time, but folks typically take care of the chore before going to bed or after waking up. I've been known to do either. Just ask my fiancé. So, where does this concept date back to? Benjamin Franklin. He suggested the switch to maximize the use of the season's evening daylight and save energy. The fuel-saving strategy first took hold nationwide during World War I and again for World War II. It's traditionally up to the states to decide whether they'll adopt daylight savings time, but it's traditionally up to Congress to determine when the switch takes effect. Thanks to the Energy Policy Act of 2005, summertime now takes up almost 8 months of the year, from the second Sunday in March to the first Sunday in November. Other countries follow different schedules, so the time difference between New York and London, for instance, will be 4 hours rather than 5 for the next 3 weeks. Does the shift actually save energy? The answer may depend on local conditions and lifestyle choices. A nationwide statistical study in 2008 suggested that the practice produced a net saving of 1.3 terawatt-hours of electricity for lighting annually. However, more focused studies have shown that the savings can be canceled out by increased demand for heating and cooling. Studies also suggest there will be an increased chance of bleary-eyed workers showing up on Monday morning due to the shift in sleep schedules.
Beer.
So all in all, it all balances out. So yeah, after the show I'll definitely be taking care of all the clocks. In fact, I think I'll just take care of this one right now. Let me just open the back. Yes, I actually still have physical clocks in my home. It's good for teaching kids how to tell time. Right, there we are. That's one down. 9 more to go around the house. But I'll do those ones later, because right now, it's time to get right into our continuing battle against global socialism. Our first story from Time magazine, President Obama said Friday that the work begun by civil rights activists in Selma, Alabama 50 years ago is still not complete, as he prepares to visit the town this weekend on the anniversary of the historic march. Quote, "This is an unfinished project," the president said in an interview on the Tom Joyner Morning Show on Friday. "I say to my daughters the same thing I say to the young people who work for me, and that is, it is a glorious task that we are given to continually try to improve this great country of ours. Improve it or bring it down. You at home decide." The president cited the Department of Justice's scathing report on the Ferguson, Missouri Police Department released this week as evidence that the country still had work to do on civil rights for black Americans. In the report, patterns of racial bias and unfair treatment of black residents was brought to light in the wake of the shooting death of unarmed teenager Michael Brown by a white police officer. The president gave the interview as the first family prepares to travel to Selma to commemorate the half-century anniversary of the historic march that helped push lawmakers to pass the Voting Rights Act of 1965. The anniversary is being met with much fanfare. The president will speak today and lead a march on the Edmund Pettus Bridge. Luminaries and politicians, including former President George W. Bush and former First Lady Laura Bush, are in attendance. The president said Friday the great thing about Selma is, quote, "It celebrates all those folks who don't have their name on a plaque or a statue." So it's supposed to celebrate me as well? Oh wait, I'm a white American, so he's probably leaving me out of this. Darn it. And normally I don't cite sources from Al Jazeera, Quality Arab Television, and Death to America, but in this case, we'll make an exception. The Utah State Senate voted today on an LGBT anti-discrimination bill that has received widespread support from both gay and transgender rights groups, as well as officials from the state's populous religious community. The bill, which was introduced this week and unanimously approved Thursday by the Senate's Republican-controlled Business and Labor Committee, would protect gay, lesbian, bisexual, and transgender people in Utah from both housing and employment discrimination. Wait a minute, I thought the EEOC already did that. Never mind, let's read on. Advocates hope that it could be a model for other conservative states that seek to strike a balance between civil rights and constituents' religious views. Utah would join 18 other states and Washington, D.C. that have laws on the books barring discrimination based on sexual orientation and gender identity, according to the ACLU. But there is a catch. Religious groups would be exempt from the legislation, as would church-affiliated groups such as the Boy Scouts of America, which in Utah has strong ties to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, which I am a member of, and prohibits gay scout leaders from participating. While several states including Washington, Oregon, California, and Colorado have passed laws banning LGBT discrimination, Utah's proposed law is unique in that it has enjoyed the support of Mormon church leaders in a conservative state that has passed a law banning gay marriage. That ban was struck down in 2013 by a federal judge, after which thousands of same-sex couples got married. Civil rights advocates say the agreement between the church and civil rights groups has been a long time coming following 7 years of talks and negotiations. But the law does not protect Utah's LGBT community, some 55,000 people according to UCLA's Williams Institute, against discrimination in what is known as public accommodation. That means that businesses, doctors, restaurants, and others in the public sphere can refuse to serve or work with LGBT people based on religious beliefs, and they won't be breaking the law. So, when will the world learn the difference between civil rights and racial bias? When will the government learn to leave church and God alone? And seriously, where's my fish of the month? I've been waiting for that thing for several months. Stay tuned for continuing developments in our continuing battle against global socialism. Right, let's go to break, and when we come back, an idiot with a brick throws it at a car and ends up with a brick in his face in Crime and Pinheads. The Wheel of Fortune and Let's Make a Deal headline our Game Show News Minute. And get ready for a very interesting edition of The Classifieds. That's all coming up on The Weekender after the break. You're listening to SHR Media.
Don't click away. The SHR Weekender will be right back.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. That you didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean,
Dude, I'm not saying calf for the stupid promo.
Sackhead Clint,
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on SHRmedia.com.
You're listening to the SHR Weekender on SHRmedia.com. Once again, here's Corey Evan.
I thank you very much, Sackhead Sean, and thank you again for helping me with my solo show on Wednesday on the Evan Miller Report. That was a brilliant show, by the way. I really appreciate all your help. Anyway, welcome back to the SHR Weekender. I'm Corey Evan. It's a beautiful day here in Southern California. Last week it was rather gloomy, but then again it was just giving me a taste of what you East Coasters have to go through. I really feel for you guys out there. And actually, I'm kind of jealous. I wish we had some of that snow out here, although certain people in San Diego don't want it. Shame on you guys. Right, let's find out who botched their crimes this week in Crime and Pinheads. Right, this is the segment where I bring you criminals who did something so stupid in committing their crimes that it was only a matter of time before you got to hear about it. Such as this one. An Irish thief dubbed the Thick with the Brick has set a new bar for dumb criminals. From laughspin.com, the unidentified man was knocked out by a brick he threw while trying to smash a car window, and the video is going viral. The Thick with the Brick video starts with the criminal throwing rocks at the window of a white Mercedes in an attempt to break in. That didn't work. Then he tried throwing a giant brick. That didn't work. The brick bounced off the window and hit the thief in the face, knocking him out cold. The owner of the car, Jerry Brady, returned to find the Thick with the Brick still unconscious. At first, the pub owner thought the thief had been the victim of an attack and tried to help him. But Brady got suspicious when the thief refused to seek medical attention. It was then that his partner realized that her car was damaged. Apparently, the Thick with a Brick had managed to break into her vehicle and steal items from the glove compartment. But the criminal was not satisfied and tried to break into the Mercedes to boot. And this criminal was persistent. Not only did he attempt to break in, but he even tried to bribe Brady once he came to. Ha ha, thick with a brick. Ha ha, thick with a brick. Just a joking little taunt for you. Next up from NBC News out of Ohio, this one has been creating quite the buzz on social media, and it turns out Facebook is what got the guy caught. Meet Andrew Markham. Officers at the Butler County Sheriff's Office in Ohio posted his picture on Facebook warning residents of Markham. You see, Markham was wanted on burglary, assault, and abduction charges. Well, when Markham saw the Facebook post, he decided to taunt police with the comment, quote, "I ain't trippin'. Half of them don't even know me." Police warned during a press conference for Markham to not, quote, poke the bear. Less than 24 hours later, after the press conference, police posted a now infamous crying mugshot saying Markham would be temporarily off Facebook. Yes, I'm gonna post the entire Crime and Pinheads lineup for you on Facebook. Beware, dumb criminals! I'm watching you. I'll see you next week in Crime and Pinheads. Right, with the idiot criminals out of the way, it's the first weekend of the month, and people are looking to buy and sell stuff online and in print. Let's look at the classifieds. Yep, that's right, I look at everything. Newspapers, online, job boards. Because if you're bored, go get a job. I mean, the latest jobs report says that there's jobs out there, so give it a shot. Like this one. Last honest plumber, no job too small. Where have all the honest plumbers gone to? That's the question. Not satisfied with buying a used car? Well, You could buy used car lots, 2 to 20 spaces on Pierce Street at La Sierra in Riverside, California. Turnkey, will finance, prime high drive-by location. So if you're not satisfied with buying one used car, buy the lot. Ooh, I love this one. Yorkies adorable. Baby doll and teddy bear faces, teacup and toy family raised. Stud available. One of those dogs is a stud. By that I mean a ladies sort of dog. Stop! Don't call a taxi! For a dependable ride anytime, please call Cindy. Who is this Cindy? And does she want something other than cash for a dependable ride anytime? Because when you say anytime, that means anytime. Now, this is one that I think a lot of Southern California folks could use. 24-hour water damage, 3 rooms, $39.95, 5 rooms, $59.95. So they'll come to your home and give you water damage, eh? Watch how you type these things, carpet cleaners. I might just misinterpret. Oh, even better than water damage. New and used homes in all-age gated community with pool. Bad credit okay, with good income. How do you have bad credit and good income? Unless you're a drug lord. Or even better, if you're looking to rent a property, must see 1 bedroom with tile, with water and trash. A bedroom with water and trash in it. Like I said, proofread or you'll die from drowning and choking on trash. Uh-oh. Heads up, Miss Gloria Yee. You are being sued by Wells Fargo Bank N.A., America's servicing company. You have been sued. The court may decide against you without your being heard unless you respond within 30 days. The date, May 15th, 2013. Sorry, Miss Yee, you're about a year and a half too late. Your case is dismissed. Uh-oh, bank turned you down? Direct private funds, brokers welcome, fast funding with hard money. So where's the soft money? Oh, I love this one. It really makes you work hard to find out who these people are. Sexy gay men. Free! Free what? Honestly, that's all it says other than a phone number and use code 2493. 18 and older only. Although we here at SHR Media do not condone that sort of thing. And of course, it's not just in print that we find funny classifieds. There's also online on Craigslist. Are you a beautiful single woman living in LA or OC fed up with dating? Okay, that's badly worded. But even worse is the title of this ad. Are you tired of dating in LA with 0 to no results? Aren't those the same thing? Man. Good grief. Uh-oh, back to the gays again. High-volume gay nightclub seeks security host. Hiring for male security for Thursdays, Fridays, Saturday, and Sunday nights at the new high-volume 340 nightclub in Pomona? I'm warning you, folks! I'm from Pomona. When I hear this happening in Pomona, I go ballistic. Good grief! You're ruining my birth town, people! Ooh, I love the stuff that goes up for sale. The Informed Argument paperback is for sale, but that's not the funny part of it. It's how much they're selling this copy for. $69. You can tell that the poster's head is in the bill. Here's another one. PL lamp 4-pin. A box of 10 for $25 or one for $3. We will work with your budget, the poster says. If you can't afford a $3 lamp 4-pin, then why are you online trying to buy such a thing? Ooh, I know a couple of folks up at the Sacramento Bureau who'd be interested in this one. It's a 27 by 40 print poster for $150. It's the signed Gilbert and George Dirty Words Pictures. The sackheads are probably bidding furiously on that. And before I close this up, let me just remind you folks that love is lending her your classic Roadster when her car is being repaired. Honestly, that's really printed right here in the LA Times. Right, those are your classifieds for the month of March. If you spot a hilarious classified ad, hit print screen, Command Shift 4, or take a picture of it and post it on my Facebook page, facebook.com/SHR Weekender. It might show up in the April edition of the classifieds. After the break, Wheel of Fortune and Let's Make a Deal highlight the Game Show News Minute. And this week's tip of the week is all about finding new gadgets. Or nearly new gadgets if you don't mind saving a buck or two. Stay tuned to The Weekender. You might learn something after the break.
This is Tammy Jackson, inviting you to join me on The Tammy Jackson Show every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Pacific on the 405radio.com. Put down that remote and tune into the show that covers politics, guns and the Second Amendment, religious liberties, sanctity of life, the military, and more. I host newsworthy guests and work hard to be a conservative radio show that's not like all the others. So save Tuesday nights at 7 p.m. Pacific for me, Tammy Jackson, on the 405media.com.
I'm Corey Evan, the Game Show Geek. It is March 7th, 2015. Here's your Game Show News Minute. CBS's Let's Make a Deal continued showing ratings growth based on the just completed 2015 February sweeps. According to Nielsen, the program delivered its largest audience ever during the sweep. Let's Make a Deal, which is broken into two parts, averaged between 3.39 and 3.92 million viewers. I'm sure Monty Hall is very proud of them. It may be March, but Wheel of Fortune is playing Secret Santa to Children's Miracle Network hospitals around the country. For the first time in Wheel of Fortune's 32 seasons, the popular game show produced 2 weeks of shows that directly benefited one charity through its 4th annual Secret Santa sweepstakes. During the 10-day sweepstakes last winter, more than 10 million viewers tuned in nightly, and a total of $435,000 is going to be distributed among a group of Children's Miracle Network hospitals across the country. So good to help out the little cherubs. And UK pubcaster CBBC has ordered another 2 seasons of London-based Zigzag Productions game show Ultimate Brain. Originally a popular family game show on Japan's NTV, the kid-focused remake sees Dr. Brain pit children and CBBC celebrities against one another in a series of science-based tasks designed to find the ultimate brain. Ultimate Brain is executive produced by Danny Fenton. Ooh, Danny Phantom executive produces this. I'm going to tune in to watch. Right, that's your Game Show News Minute for this week. I'm Corey Evan. Have a great day. Anyway, on to your tip of the week for this week. If you're looking to buy a new iPhone, hold off from buying one at the Apple Store just yet. Because I have actually been seeing iPhones online, and this is the newest one, the iPhone 6. I've seen them for around $150, $200, like on Craigslist, for example. I mean, obviously, when you buy something off of Craigslist, you have to be weary about the quality of the product as to whether it'll actually keep running, if you will. Or if you take it to the Apple Store and discover that it doesn't actually have Apple insides in it and have to ship it all the way back to China just to honor the warranty. But if you know what to look for, and you show a good personality, you can actually save hundreds on gadgets online. Like, I actually got a really good deal online with my iPhone 5C. It's not a 6, but it's still an iPhone. And it may be plastic, but it's good-looking plastic. You don't have to have the latest and the greatest, people. If you know what to look for, and you have an eye for saving money, you'll come up trumps. And on that note, that is your SHR Weekender for this Saturday, March 7th, 2015. I thank you very much for listening. Hey, follow me on Facebook.com/SHR Weekender and tweet us at SHR News Desk. You'll be glad you did. For all of us here at SHR Media, I'm Corey Evans saying, make it a great weekend or not, the choice is yours.
Corey will be back next weekend on the SHR Weekender. For more information on today's program, go to shrmedia.com. Thank you for listening.